A piece of Americana is gone on South Bass Island. A fire destroyed the old Colonial Hotel building in Put-in-Bay. Good evening. It's one of the worst fires in memory at one of Ohio's most popular island resorts. An explosion and fire at what was once the Colonial Hotel, more recently the Beer Barrel Tavern and Restaurant, reduced the structure to rubble. Witnesses say a grease fire in a barbecue pit apparently touched off a propane tank explosion. The woman lighting the barbecue, 31-year-old Rosie Kelly of Put-in-Bay, is listed in fair condition tonight at St. Vincent Medical Center. Fire officials say it will be a while before the cleanup and the investigation are completed.
We're going to have to keep an observation on the structure was large enough that there'll be things smoldering in it for quite a while. And we'll be doing an investigation in the next couple days.
The fire struck on the eve of the island's traditional summer season opener, the Memorial Day weekend. The Beer Barrel was more than a tavern and a general store. It was the oldest building on South Bass Island. Longtime residents consider it a local institution, and as Mike O'Connell reports, it's an institution that will be sorely missed.
Island goers heard news of the fire long before they reached South Bass Island. For longtime summer residents, the ferry ride to South Bass was a time to remember an institution they grew up with.
And I remember roller skating up there in the 50s, and there was a bowling alley downstairs that had the pin boys set the pins.
Tonight, firefighters watered down the ashes of what used to be the Beer Barrel Tavern and the island's only general store. A block away, holiday revelers drank and talked, but the talk was usually about time spent at the Beer Barrel.
It hurt to see it go up. It hurt. Been in there a lot of nights. That's some good times.
During his 51 years on the island, Terry Lamb watched what was once the Colonial Hotel change many times, but he especially liked what the most recent owner had done with the place.
One time there was a bowling alley in there. Ron's Winery was in there, and the other end where the Beer Barrel is, the upstairs was a roller skating rink at one time. Been all kinds of stuff, but the best it's ever been is since Pip Meese has done it.
The Beer Barrel was also an institution because of a folk singer named Pat Daly. For 10 years, Daly played on the island, and he only played at the Beer Barrel. Tonight, the place would have been packed with a holiday weekend crowd. But this Memorial Day weekend, the island's favorite Daly song, Put-in-Bay, will only be heard on jukeboxes. Daly's instruments and equipment burned up in the fire. Mike O'Connell, Toledo 11 News, Put-in-Bay.
I'm Janice Lane. The timing of the blaze was like adding fuel to the Put-in-Bay fire. Emergency crews were on standby at Catawba Island much of the afternoon.
We were just called out. Technically, we knew that we had 2 people coming over on the boat. And then we were called back here to stand by to find out if there would be any others.
These holiday travelers are forced to take a backseat to emergency vehicles ferry to the island. The 2-hour delay gave them time to think about how the fire singed some of their Memorial Day plans.
We have a cottage over there, and it's going to be a real hardship without a general store.
It could be worse. They could tell us we couldn't go. They could close the whole island down.
When rush hour traffic rolled in, it made the weekends celebrating seem even further away for some motorists. The dockmaster says he's worried about what the fire will do to his business.
It's hard to say whether what it's going to do. We still got a lot of people that have reservations on the island. We still have to take them.
Despite the fire and the delays, some travelers decided not to wait another minute to have a good time.
We're going over to spend a weekend on the Island Junkie, and I just hope they don't run out of beer.
Janice Lane, Toledo 11 News, Catawba Island.
Anything as hot as what happened there this afternoon. A major section of the historic downtown area burned to the ground before a stunned crowd of Memorial Day vacationers.
Good evening, everyone. Residents on Put-in-Bay, the Lake Erie Island Resort, are picking up the pieces tonight after a devastating fire in the heart of that resort community. An explosion and fire this afternoon ravaged a popular tourist complex on Put-in-Bay called the Colonial. The Colonial, a wooden building put up at the turn of the century, housed the Beer Barrel Saloon, a department store, and the main grocery store on the island. You're watching pictures taken by resident Jeff Kaler when the fire broke out.
Utter disbelief. Just a real shock. This was the center of everything here in the town.
To the Islanders, it probably means quite a bit because this is their main grocery store. And this is a store that is open year-round
when everything else is closed down.
Police say a propane tank exploded in front of the building, causing the fire. One Put-in-Bay resident, Rose Kelly, suffered second-degree burns. Investigators still don't know what caused the propane tank to blow up. Now, despite the towering flames that you saw on that home videotape, it should be pointed out that firefighters managed to save Papa Tipper's restaurant, which is in the same building. Also, 15 people fled safely when the propane tank in that building exploded. And the Commodore Motel, about 5 feet from the burning complex, was somehow also saved.
And when the fire began this afternoon, people were concerned that the island might lose out on valuable tourist dollars for the Memorial Day weekend. But as 13's Winston Brown now reports, the fire didn't stop the tourists from flocking to the island for the holiday weekend.
When the ferry started transporting people back to the island shortly after 3 o'clock this afternoon, there were hundreds of people lined up to take the 20-minute trip.
We've been here about 7 minutes. Wait until we get a ferry out there.
You haven't thought about going someplace else?
No.
Well, we've been waiting probably about 2 hours because of the fire. And yeah, our car's the next one in line, so we're going to keep waiting.
Put-in-Bay officials had been concerned earlier in the day that news of the fire might cause some holiday travelers to change their plans about visiting the island. But that didn't happen. Some of the visitors were surprised to hear that there had been a major fire on the island.
I can't believe it. I saw the trucks on the dock. I figured it was just, you know, for show or something. I don't know.
The mayor says the fire will only have a minor impact on the island's economy.
It's going to have an impact on the Colonial themselves, but like I say, the other businesses will probably pick up the slack.
And what about groceries?
Groceries will be a problem because the fact is that everybody was stocked up for the weekend, and so there's certain groceries that will not be available. I don't know as far as dairy products, although they will probably try and get some more stuff over here tomorrow.
The mayor says he doesn't expect this fire to deter the large crowds that are expected this weekend or in coming weeks. From Put-in-Bay, Winston Brown, 13 News Update.
And Toledo went back in business today, but the selection was limited. Colonial building owner Tip Neese is already planning to rebuild the place.
We're going to start rebuilding tomorrow already. We're going to rebuild the grocery store first, and then we're going to rebuild the beer barrel. We hope to have the store up in about 6 weeks and hope to have the beer barrel completed before right around Labor Day weekend.
One woman remains hospitalized for burns she received in the fire.